Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad to hear this morning. Got a great show lined up. But first, as always, our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77. We're looking not much of a temperature variance today. A low of 39 and a high of 47. This is going to be cool. Should be sunny. Water temperature drop back down to 59 degrees. All right, let's take a look at our river readings brought to us by Watson's Landing Marina and Dry Storage. It just don't look like they're going to go down. Apalachicola at Bluntstown is right at 21 foot. Okay, and the Choctawhatchee at Caryville is over 13 foot. So both rivers are still really high, but you know, and you look at February, and February historically is the wettest month of the year, and it's just cool. That's just the way February is. And this year we've had a lot. Maybe I'll get a chart to show you, but it's been a lot more rain this February than we've had in a very long time. In addition to it being historically wet. All right, our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery. Good strong tides today, a low at 7:35 this morning and a high at 10:55 tonight. We got a good 2-foot range. Today is February the 9th, of course, and now looking on the rest of the weekend, though, this weekend is going to be some neat tides, so we're going to have some cool weather all week long, and we're going to have some low tides probably if that wind's coming out north. And then later on we've got, well, the marine forecast today, their calling is going to start at west-northwest this morning and then just switch completely out of the west now. They're calling for 22 miles an hour. So that's going to be some heavy winds coming out of there, so it'll be some rough seas. So, all right, that takes care of our weather. Let's take our break and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Let's get started with some pictures. Don't have a lot of them. This past weekend was a pretty weekend. It just didn't have a lot of pictures sent to us. But we're going to start off with one. This is from Tom Gurley. Tom, I've showed his pictures over and over again. Tom used to run our control room. He's an excellent wildlife photographer. Just if you look at the contrast in this picture, I mean, just look at the different colors on the squirrel itself, and just the timing of it, and it's so clear and crisp. And I'm going to show my students this picture today and talk about, because some of those kids really enjoy just taking pictures. You get down in the woods taking pictures. I want to encourage you to do things. You may not like to hunt, but getting out in the woods is a great thing to do. All right, next picture. How about Remington Stotler? Great time of the year, February and March. Excellent time to go out hog hunting. And here's Remington on a nice one, good size one here. And it's good. That's a good eating right there. Remington Stotler. Called in sick. We're going to start seeing this now, probably the next couple of weeks, about in March. Called in sick, my arm is in a cast. All right, the next picture here. Kenzie Harrington. This is her first buck. And I know it's just a spike and all, but look at that big old smile on her face. She was happy. She's hunted hard now the last couple of years and finally got her that buck. Good job, Kenzie Harrington. Luke Bossler, late season buck. This is up in Alabama. Luke's from here. Nice buck there, Luke. Good job, buddy. And how about some good fishing here? Century Burkett up there in Fountain doing some good winter fishing here. And here's Alan Chazen up there. This is the Sneed's Sportsman's Club. The speaker was Tony Biggett, and I just love to see these men gather around and lady outdoorsmen and just have a really good meeting and all that. A guest speaker for the Sneed's Sportsman's Club. And Jennifer Jennings Sousa sent a picture of her husband, a late season buck. All right, some really good pictures here, so I want to get those in and send you pictures in. We'll share. That's a good weekend, some good stuff fishing and hunting. I wanted to talk too a little bit about late season tips, late season hunting tips. I was in the woods Saturday. We just sort of, I wasn't hunting hard. I just haven't hunted hard this year. Some seasons you hunt real hard, and some seasons you don't. If you're an outdoorsman, you know what I'm talking about. Well, this year I just have not hunted hard. I've had some seasons where I hit it really hard. But anyway, with that being said, I just still love getting up there. I went up there Saturday and was walking. Really, what I'm doing, I'm sort of scouting for next year. You know, which to me that's an optimistic outlook. I can't wait till next season gets here, because I'm gonna do a lot better. And one of the things I'm sort of scouting, I'm seeing some of the same tendencies, same trends of the bucks doing the same things and all. But I did something, and I thought about it. I don't think I've ever shared this with you. A long time ago, when I first was hunting on my own and all, and getting away from my dad, not getting away from him, just going on my own, and he always told me he always said a deer has a strong nose. Well, I started when I walk in the woods, and the most prevalent tree in Florida is, especially in the Panhandle, is a pine tree. And I wanted to be natural, so I'd always just walk in the woods, just grab a whole handful of pine needles, and just, green ones, and just sort of crush them up a little bit. I have my sling on my gun, and I just crush them up a little bit, and I rub them on my hand, okay? And then I'd walk 10, 15 more yards, grab some more, and crush them up and grab them and just put them on my neck. And that was my original scent, deer block scent. And of course, after that, you started seeing all kinds of things develop. Well, anyway, with that being said, I still do that. I don't like to spray a lot of stuff on me. I have before, and especially in times where I'm really doing some serious hunting, but I still when I first walk in the woods, just grab some pine needles and put them on me. And even if I'm walking into the wind. So that's your tip of the day as far as trying to hide your human scent. And that's a natural way to do it, because those pine needles really have some juice in them. And anyway, so keep that in mind doing that. Also, write down ground blind. If you're placing your ground blind for next year, you want to make sure that you want to put your ground blind. Now, you still got time this year if you got a big buck, and I still have some active scrapes looking at my property. I still have a couple of active scrapes. I've got a lot of rain in it. And we just had a lot of rain this year. I've got a stream I have to cross, and it's usually about this wide. Well, it's about twice that wide. And I can always gauge how much rain I've had by just the size of that flowing stream there. So anyway, your ground blind, go ahead and get in mind where you're going to put your ground blind for next year to try to, that's what I'm doing. I've got a scrape blind, and I pretty well know, and hopefully that buck will make it through this year. And I may still try to get it up next weekend or so. But anyway, do that. Also, your permanent stands, if you need to make any kind of addition to your permanent stand. I was looking around, my roof is leaking on one of my stands. I'm going to replace that this summer. So it's scout around. Let's see what other notes I wrote. The ground blind, the notes. Well, I sit in the stand. I used to years ago just write. I had a little notepad. I used to write my notes and all. But now you can put your notes on your cell phone. And I have a little deer hunt category for next year. I really write down notes and all about what I want to think about, what I want to do and all. I got to really between now and next year clear out some passages, some limbs hanging and that kind of stuff. That it just grows fast, especially with the rain we've had. And so that's some late season tips I wanted to give you too. Also, I've got let's see, somewhere we want to talk about the hunting date. Okay, the safe hunting course. Okay, right here. Let's quickly mention the safe hunting course to take. Franklin County. This is February 20th from 8 to 3 o'clock. Now that's be coming around real soon. Hunter safety course, and also in Guff County, also February 20th from 8 a.m. So that's Guff and Franklin County. The hunter safety course is going to be offered. Okay, and also let's go ahead and mention while we have it. Let's go hunting to fishing now. The Emerald Coast Redfish Series. It's a professional redfish series. Those are the 4 dates there. February 20th. And you see them February 20th, but that February 20th is right around the corner. Here are the prizes for the kayak division. Okay, and also here's the prizes for the boat division. That's a good first and second place. I mean, I'd take fifth place at $250. I'd pay for your gas and get your entrance fee back. So notice those dates right there. Okay, let's take a break and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. February is a unique month in the outdoors, but all kind of things going on. A lot of people think, well, the weather's bad and all that, and it's sort of a bad month. It's really an exciting month because you got so much stuff going on. The rut is finishing up, and also, just all kinds of things. But getting back to water, it's sheephead. It's sheephead month. February is. You catch probably more in February, March than you do. And than you do the rest of the year. What's going on? They're spawning. So last night I sat down and put together the top 10 Panhandle Outdoors sheephead hotspots. Now you like that title. So we're going to start probably, what you think would be our eastern end, you're correctly thinking, but now when I show you this map, the top of the map, of course, is north, and then east and west. So when I give you directions now, it's just like you're looking at your screen, east and west. Okay, let's start down in Franklin County. one of the top spots, and it goes way back. This is East Point, okay, and the yellow line is a bridge going to the St. George Island. That's St. George Island Causeway, and you hear me talk about it time and time again on Friday. The little bridge there, that's the old bridge. I'm going to zoom in on this. That's the old bridge right there, the one I just showed you, and it just cut it off. Thank goodness they left a lot of room for fishermen. And you can actually see, if you look close enough, there's some fishermen out there when this picture was taken. Got a nice ripple in the water. Well, what you have is pilings. Let me go back now. I want to explain this to you. You have these pilings, these bridge pilings. You have all these crustaceans on them. And it is a really excellent place to fish. You got room, it's quiet, and just a really good place, okay? Really good place right there. All right, that's number one. And also the John, okay, let's go back. Here's East Point again on the right side. Now we're going from east to west in Apalachicola. That's the John Gorey Bridge. And you can go by boat, or you can, some places you can fish from land there, from the causeway and all, but excellent fishing right in there. Both those spots, you can see they're almost adjacent. Apalachicola Bay is rich and full of all kind of marine life, and sheephead are no exception. They're going to be congregating there this February, which is right now. All right, so now let's go. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's go back. We'll go. I zoomed in on the bridge right there, the Highway 98 bridge, and you can see the cars and all. But see the power line right north of there. Those concrete base for those power lines will have sheephead around them too. You may not can see them, but they're about 3 or 4 inches above north of the bridge there. All right, next, this is Bob Sykes Cut at St. George Island. It was cut for the shipping channel there. Excellent place. I'm telling you, it's hard to get to. We used to go there, but now it's private land. We used to drive a Jeep there, but now it's private land. But if you have a boat and get out there, it's redfish paradise and sheephead paradise. That's Bob Sykes Cut. Okay. Move on down to the next one. Let's see. This is we're going in here. This is Carabel. Okay. This is Carabel River, where it comes in, just as you come into Carabel on Highway 98, take that sharp curve, right there at the bridge. Now, sea quarters are down to the far right sort of on the edge of the page on the right, where that bridge right there going into Carabel. The Carabel River Bridge is excellent. Also, those pilings there, they just put some of the new places in there, so that's going to be a good place too. All right, next is moving on along. Let's come back up here to Port St. Joe. This Highland View, being particular, the Highland View Bridge, and that's one of the hot spots of fishing for all kind of things. And it's getting, it's been real successful, and an excellent place there. That's Raffield's boatyard right there, north of there, and the sheephead. That's good fishing. All through that canal there, you're gonna catch some sheephead. You find some kind of structure. All right. Of course, the Tyndall Bridge going into Tyndall, Highway 98 going into Tyndall. The pilings there, and the old bridge piling, you find some of that rubble there right northeast of there. All right, let's keep on moving. Okay, of course, the pass here in Panama City, off Thomas Drive at the state park. I've talked time and time again at the jetties. And I'm going to zoom in right here. Same jetties, the eastern side right here. Now, you're going to see captains, they're going to be stacked up in there. There's going to be a lot of boats in there in February. Give them space. Y'all spread out a little bit. Don't get on top of each other. They get on those rocks right there. It's a little bit deeper right there on those eastern jetties, and a lot less traffic. All around a depot there, that's going to probably be more sheephead there than maybe anywhere you can find. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, now let's move on up to the bridges. The Hathaway Bridge on the bottom left here, and top right-hand corner is the Lynn Haven Bridge. Both of those bridges be holding them. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on the Lynn Haven Bridge, and what I want to show you is what they did. This is so much good foresight. I was so tickled when I read they were doing this. When they built the new bridge years ago, I think back in, I want to say 88, 89 or 90, they left the old bridge. And you can fish off this bridge. You can walk from Southport to Lynn Haven on that bridge and fish off of it. And for years, and many years, going back to the early 1900s, they've caught sheephead off in this area right in here. So that's a long-standing tradition there. Next is let's go to West Bay. This is the Intercoastal Waterway. On the far right is West Bay. Far left enters into Choctawhatchee Bay. All along the Intercoastal Waterway, you can find some of those little concrete, where they've thrown out some trash and all, as far as concrete blocks. Any kind of structure like that, you can catch sheephead in Intercoastal Waterway. You just got to find some spots in there We're going in here. Now this is a West Bay Bridge. Again, traditionally, historically, it's been an excellent place to catch sheephead along the path right in that area there. Okay, West Bay Bridge. All right, the next, let's see, let's go number 9. We're going into, this is Choctawhatchee, the 331 Bridge. We zoomed in on that. The 331, Choctawhatchee Bay has got a good population of sheephead. Okay, 331 Bridge there. And also has a Mid-Bay Bridge right in here. You got 2 nice bridges on Choctawhatchee Bay, and those pilings going to be holding sheephead. And then, certainly last but not least, we're going through this is the Destin Pass. The jet is on right there in the center bottom there, and also the bridge. The biggest thing here is the boat traffic. You can see in this picture here when it's taken, just full of boat traffic. So those are the top 10, according to my Panhandle Outdoors survey of where people catch sheephead. And it's not all inclusive. Other people catch sheephead all kinds of different places, but those 10 spread out through our viewing area, you can find some sheephead. I promise you, if you get out there with some shrimp or fiddler crabs, and that's going to, or oysters, you eat one and fish with one. But anyway, that's going to be a good bait and a good time of year to go sheephead fishing. All right, let's take our break and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the final segment of Panhandle Outdoors. Appreciate you watching and tuning in this morning. And let's go ahead and look at our fishing game time today, brought to us by Mark Cowart of Counts Realty. Okay, we're looking at time 12:29 a.m. to 2:29 this morning, but this right in the middle of the day, from basically it says 12:56 to 2:56. We'll round it off from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Take a late lunch right there. Got a name to add here, Mike Grazioso from Chillin' Charters. Mike, got you right here in a pickle jar. All right, don't forget we got the Valentine's Day giveaway coming up soon. I'm gonna talk about that the next day or two, but it's gonna be coming up this week in the next couple of days. Now, when I was doing the book, I had one of the most agonizing thing I had to do was to thin out the pictures. I had so many pictures that I did not put in the book, and I did agonize over this because I really had to edit them. I want to put all of them. I've got a stack, literally this stack about like that, of pictures at home that I did not put in the book. Great old black and white pictures of our heritage and all. And I was looking through them last night, and I said, well, I'm gonna just show y'all something, because I know how a lot of y'all really enjoy seeing these old black and white pictures of the early years. So we're gonna take a look at them. I just pulled a handful of them out last night. Later on, I'll show you some more. But let's take a look at this first one here. Now, this is a Queen Mary. I showed the Queen Mary. I didn't show this picture. This is the classic #1 boat that started out. This is George Davis built this right over there close to the Lake Martin at the paper mill in the backyard there. It was amazing. It was just after World War II when it was built. And it built the frame out of heart pine, and then he used cypress and juniper. But what he did with the Queen Mary, the biggest thing he did, and it was historically significant because it really revolutionized the fishing charter business in this area at the time. He put a diesel engine in the Queen Mary. And when he did that, he was able to go out further and go a lot cheaper than all the other captains and all. And he was the first one to do it. So, wow, I'd love to watch him build that boat and all. And fascinating time. Let's move on along. This next one is the August Moon. The August Moon was it was just a good boat. They had different captains to it and all, but it was just one of the most important ones too. The Tiki 3. That boat was the Tiki, several of those boats being built at the time, and was a well done. Mike Anderson, this is one of the Captain Anderson boat. Now, I had Captain Anderson's boat. I didn't have this particular one. It's Captain Anderson's, I believe, 2. But you can see the shape and all, how they built. A lot of those boats were built at a time where boat building was just an art and a skill. All right, this next one, I got tickled. I've always been tickled with this one. That's a pelican. That was what we can figure out. This guy, I don't know why he shot a pelican. I don't know if he thought he could eat it or what, but I guess it might have been duck hunting and all. I didn't put that in the book, but I just thought y'all would get a kick out of it because it was fascinating. A guy was just, I guess they were hungry or something. All right, but the Florida Queen, I did put the Florida Queen in there, but not this particular picture. It was just day in and day out. They were catching in the late 50s and 60s, even on into the 70s, they were catching this many fish and all, okay? And I really wanted to put a lot of ladies, this is up in Lynn Haven Bayou. Look in the background, there are no houses or anything, and the ladies were out they just loved, getting out, just getting in the water. You know, that was a hot summer day, and they didn't have air conditioning. They just wanted to go cool off, and that was a cool picture there. And they loved boating too. And again, these boats were homemade boats right here. They built in backyards and all. And it was really just they had no blueprints in building these. A couple more here. This is the same kind of boat. Some of these are little cartercraft boats, but they got up in the bayous and all, and outboards were just coming out. And you can see that that's a little, that's not balanced really good. And some of these boats, when they put, from what I'm talking to the old timers and all, the boaters they put on them were too big. The horsepower weren't all that much, but they were heavy. They were just really heavy. So you can see the bow just sticking up like that. And even in this picture here, that's what happened. But I got a good picture here. This is a picture, not going to show up real good, but this was just the downtown at the end of Harrison Avenue, all the businesses and all, out on the dock before the hurricanes showed them. So, all right, now let me go vertical. I got a couple of vertical pictures. We're going, here's a picture, I'm not sure, I think this is Scott Lindsay back in the day. I didn't know Scott as a teenager, so I just imagined that's what it would look like here on the left. That's Scott in his swimming trunks. But tarpon fishing, that picture was shown in another book, but I didn't put it, so that's why I didn't put it in my book. But still, tarpon fishing, that's down in St. Andrew, and that was a really big tarpon there. Some cobia caught, this was in the 50s here, okay? And got a couple of more. Let's show one or two more. This was in the 60s, and that's just a big old pregnant fish. I bet if they had to do over, they would probably release that. That's one of the captain's wives, and they didn't know at the time to release them like they did. They were trying to make a living. But anyway, no excuses. Today now we'd let something like that go because there's a lot more fishermen out there. And this is the last one over West Bay, even through the 70s. That's the old bait and tackle shop. Remember I talked about the one at Deer Point Dam, the old bait and tackle shop there at West Bay. So that's enough for today. Just a little flashback on some of the old pictures. I did not get to put in the book, but it's still part of our rich heritage here in Florida Panhandle on fishing and boat building. Okay, going to wrap things up. I got a big show tomorrow. Thank you all so much for watching. Really appreciate your viewership. Do something good for your fellow man. Have a great day, and God bless.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.